right, let's move on. So this morning it is today, Friday, June the 16th, and we are here getting ready for our pre-market call from yesterday. Talk about yesterday's market, talk about today's market. I need to make my brain transition into the stock market for today. Today is quad witching, triple witching, double witching, whichever one you want to call it. It's witching. A bunch of things are expiring today. All righty. So I put a thing in the chat yesterday, talked about how the week of quad witching is bullish, but the day of quad witching is usually bearish. Again, we trade what we see. So no, we're not saying nothing that but yesterday, Lord of mercy. Yesterday, the market just decided it was ready to rock and roll. It was ready to rock on. And I thought about some of y'all. I know some of y'all had some call credit spreads up there yesterday. I don't know what you ended up doing, but I just know I was seeing the market run on like it was like somebody was chasing it. This is SPX, and this was yesterday. This is the 15th, right? Started right here. This was the first candle of the day. Am I sharing?
Yes.
What screen am I sharing? Yeah, I thought I was sharing. Maybe I was sharing the wrong screen. Am I sharing the right screen now?
Yes.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you. I thought I was on the other one. But this was yesterday, right? Started here, green, and it didn't really quit till, what's this, 3 o'clock? It slowed down right around lunchtime while people went and had lunch, and it jumped right on back on its horse and said, we ready to rock some more. That was yesterday.
Yeah, Lachman's numbers didn't hold.
Well, Lachman said, if you would listen to the whole video, he didn't give us any up numbers because he really, I think, assumed that or went with but he did say, let me slow down and say what he said. He did say that if they pause the rate hikes or if they did a rate hike, the market was going to fall. But if they paused the rate hike, it was most likely going to climb. But I think he thought they were going to give another rate. I think he was leaning towards they were going to do another rate hike. So that's why he didn't give any numbers past the 43, 30 something or whatever he said. He didn't give any, but on a Sunday call. But I guess if we were in his community, we would have gotten that guidance real time, right? But yeah. He did say that if the rate hikes got paused, the market would most likely go up. I didn't think it was going to go into the 4,400s. That's an up. That ain't just up. That's up, right? So, yeah. That's why as we go forward, we'll continue to, as we get to the weeks, when we're on CPI, PPI weeks, we may want to, trade day by day when we're in that week. Maybe not do the 4 to 5 day that we do day by day, because depending on what's said, we do know that we were talking even before about doing like a before Wednesday and an after Wednesday trade. But then Tuesday, because Tuesday was CPI, Tuesday went nuts. And then the trades that you had on that you were planning on getting out just between Tuesday, we had to fight those. We had to work and wrestle with those too. So let's just, maybe in your trading plans or in your note areas or in your memory banks, remember that when we're on CPI, PPI, FOMC weeks, that we trade day to day. We don't necessarily put on for the week. All righty. Unless you're going to get lined up with Lachman or somebody else that's going to give guidance for you each day, then I wouldn't, we can't go with a Sunday video or, a weekend video and ride out all week. This market is too tenuous for that. Generally, like the week before, it worked out wonderfully. Yeah. But on those high volatility or those binary events, as Jamie calls them, when we have those binary events, we need to have our plan needs to be that we're tighter, that we stay in on the day of only, and we work what we see, day by day. All righty. But you can see, we talked about, put a video in the chat about the breakout. And if you were looking at SPX, which XSP is very similar to this chart, this was this first candle here This one here was the first candle. Once it broke out of here, you could ride it up. I put mine on. I spent $25 on a call, and I didn't put my call on till up here. So it actually had slowed down some because I missed all this. And I put a close order on it. I ended up closing it for like $20 more, but I looked at the end of the day and the same strike I had was worth $250. I literally would have 10x my money. But that's why I don't care once you finish it up, you can't look back. Don't look back now. You got to be like Lot's wife. You can't look back, because if you look back, you'll be like, And of course, on the days when you think I could have made a bunch of money as a buyer, you don't think about the days when you could have lost a lot of money as a buyer. You have to remember that you have to get what you're gonna get, what you say you're gonna get, and let it go. Don't try to be greedy. But yesterday would have been one of those days. This would have rolled up, even if you turned it off right here in the middle. But that's the breakout. I don't have a Miss Barbara asked if there was something I use for a strategy. No, it's just basically I put lines around that first 15-minute candle, and then, which is the same thing that Ariana did. It's not my strategy, it's hers. And then when it breaks out of that, you take a call or a put, do it in your cash account so you can close it back up. You don't want to use a day trade unless you just want to use a day trade. And then, set an amount you want. Maybe you want to double your premium, or you want to get $25 or $30, and you set the close order. And then when it hits it, it closes. That's how that goes. And it can go up or down, right? Some days it doesn't go too far out of the range of the 15-minute candle. Well, this one would have gone out. So sometimes it doesn't do much, but other days like yesterday, shoot, it just runs on to the moon. But now we've been set up. Maybe it's been set up, and then this drop at the end is set up for some downward pressure today. I would probably expect, if I was speculating, there's probably going to be some consolidation today. It's going to be a little up and down volatility because people are closing things, opening things, and it's such like that. I'm also going to look at our some 1 week trades using the high IV, the 25 delta, yada yada yada. That has done pretty well for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'll maybe put some trades out for those who want to do credit spreads just for that 1 week term on other stocks. That's how I'll put them in there. You can do with them as you will. I need new nails. You've been chewing on yours. You were chewing on your nails. Chewing on your nails for XLY and things in the money that are not cash settled. When it's double breach, do we close them or let them expire? If you can close them, because my XLY, I'm trying to close it, it's not picking up the $1. I guess if I was to, it's not picking it up. So try to put it in, because it's in the money, and if it expires in the money, you could potentially be in this case, the assignment won't mean anything because you would potentially be assigned, but since the long call and the short call are both expiring, they'll just use the other leg to settle it up. But if you can close it, go ahead. That way you don't have to worry about getting any messages and getting yourself all worked up when it says you've been assigned or exercised, because all they'll do is use the other leg to close it. But both legs are going to close at the same time, and then you'll still be at the same max loss. It won't cost you any more money. So you could let it expire. You could try to close it. I've got some that I put the close order in, but they're not picking up. So you can just leave it and let it do its thing.
Yeah, yesterday I put in a 95 cents thing to buy it back.
Yeah.
And it just ignores me.
Yeah, exactly. I have about 2 or 3 of those that are just sitting, which is fine. The broker can see I put the order in at least. But again, if it closes and it's in the money, they're going to exercise one side and assign the other side, and you're still going to be at the same place financially where you were if you closed it. There's no.
Yeah, when I was looking at the bid and the ask, it said like 80 cents on one side and 125 on the other. So it's like it's so far apart.
But the difference between those two numbers, if it's a one spread, the difference between those two numbers should only be $100. So
yeah, only $100.
The most you're going to lose, is the $100, right? So
minus what we got.
Minus your premiums, yes, $100 minus your premium. So don't be worried that some crazy amount's gonna come out. It's only $100 minus the premiums you took in.
All right. I got $40, so they're
Okay.
a whole
So
60.
it's $60. Yep, that's the way that works. The U.S. economy keeps showing more signs of strength. The consumer continues to spend. Manufacturing activity is hanging in, though the labor market is showing some signs of weakening in the latest round of economic data. Stock futures are flat with the economy in focus. Bank of America's Hartnett sees big stock rally followed by a big collapse. UK clears Amazon's iRobot deal, Roomba maker share jump. I saw a video yesterday of a guy talking about there's been a whole lot more bank failures than they're talking about in the, they're not talking about them in the news. And of course they're not, they're probably trying to keep the people's minds settled, but there've been more bank failures that have happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks than have been mentioned at all. We saw USB and how that, or I think it was USB or Credit Suisse or somebody, and how that affected people. So maybe they're keeping that other news kind of under wraps. But, and how the truth of the video, I don't really know, but I wouldn't be shocked that there's been other bank issues there. I also saw a SoFi video yesterday where I think I put it in the chat. Did I put it in the chat? No, I think I did. The guy was saying that one of the analysts downgraded SoFi from a $10 price point, I think, to an $8 or $8.50 price point, something like that. And that caused a bit of a slowdown. But the guy was basically saying that this is a good place for us to basically pull back for another run up. And the guy, when he was describing, because he actually shared the video of the man the analyst who was saying why he thought it was an $8 valuation. And he was kind of like, wah, wah. Their reason for bringing it down to an $8 valuation wasn't really like a good one, but he's an analyst, and the analysts, some of them, they showed his track record. His track record was like, 40% success and stuff like that. So, S&P 500 futures inch higher as benchmark heads for the best week since March. Where'd my mark? There, where we go? Okay. So let's look at the pre-market up here. Dow, everything's green over in our world. S&P futures inch higher. Everything's green over in the U.S. pre-markets. And that, remember, it's just pre-market. Doesn't mean it's going to be that way all day. European markets are all green also. Their markets are higher as traders digest the ECB rate hike. Delivery Hero shares are up 4%. And then Asia has a bunch of green over there too. Asia markets trade higher as the Bank of Japan leaves rates unchanged in line with expectations. All righty. DraftKings still holding on, makes $195 million offer for PointsBet, outbidding Fanatics. Retailers are preparing for a discount-heavy down holiday season. Yeah, people probably ain't gonna go too deep in their pockets for Christmas because they waiting to see what the economy is gonna do. Let's look and see what's on the calendar for today. FOMC member Waller is speaking at 7:45, or he or she spoke at 7:45. At 10 o'clock, we've got the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiments. That's coming at 10 o'clock this morning. And then Fed monetary policy report is tentative. We don't know what time that's going to happen. Economic calendar on investing.com. I see the oil rig stuff in the middle that wasn't mentioned on the other one. And then 4:30 is where the speculative things get reset. That's there. What is the VIX at today? See what the VIX is at 1440 today. It's still down, VIX down, market up. That's how that goes. Yep. And yep. Let's see what Adam had to say this morning. Come over to the Twitter. Oh, come on. I'll change my screens in a minute. I know I'm not sharing this side. Here we go. If you're a father in the group, definitely make sure that you, get celebrated by your children. Make sure you do that. If your father is yet alive and you can honor him, do the best you can with that. Honoring your father. Father's Day, fathers usually get a It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's Father's Day. People go all out for moms that on Father's. It's kind of like, oh, it's Father's Day. It's like it's something just basically barely mentioned. But if your father is still alive and you can honor him this weekend, do so. Do so. All right, let's see what Mr. Mancini had to say. After a 90-point squeeze off of 43.90 support in ES futures to 44.77 target, we're now basing finally. 44.63 was support and it held nicely overnight. Today is Apex day, size way down. Plan today, 44.67.63 equals support with 44.50 below. If you base above 44.67, could set up 44.84, 45.03. If 44.50 fails, then we dip to 44.30, which would bring us back into the 4300s. Oh, yes, it is Stefan's birthday. Thank you. I was determined not to forget that. And then I did. Happy birthday, Mr. Rasta Bear.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You doing, he said you're going to hang around and do graduation stuff, huh?
Yeah. My mother's here too, so that's good.
Your mom is here. Oh, mommy's being present. Oh, they make the whole thing special.
Yeah, they have 2 birthdays in a row, my daughter's and mine. So
look at that. And grandma's here, mommy's here to be a part of it. That's wonderful.
Yep. And then I call my father for his Father's Day thing. So But yeah, the year I was born, my birthday was Father's Day.
Oh, okay.
So my mother said anything between Father's Day and June 16th is mine.
Is yours. Well, your daughter gets her day, which means your day is not as important when her day is in earshot.
Well, she made me a father, so I mean,
this is true. But I mean, your birthday. With your birthday, you get sidetracked when it's your birthday and it's hers is so close too.
And so we usually buy like a huge cake for her, a small good cake for me.
Yeah, a small good cake.
In Jamaica, that would be like a Black Forest cake. Here it's like a carrot cake, like with cheese, the cheesecake frosting.
Oh, I was like cheese. No, the cream cheese frosting.
Yeah, cream cheese frosting.
Okay, because when you say cheese, my mind went to cheddar. It didn't go to cream cheese. I was like, wait, no, cheese on the cake. Pass.
Philly cream cheese. That's
cream cheese. That's a good one. That's the kind Jamie likes too. Jamie likes the cream cheese frosting too. Here we go. Putting us some numbers in here. I think this is what, 49? Is that what that is, or 39? I think it's 39. Trying to work my brain doing all the 4, 5. Yeah. Trying to work my brain on the thinking and on the math. 44, 58.
Arlissa? I'm not saying we should do this, but one day I took Adam Mancini's tweet and put it in ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, rewrite this and subtract 48. And it did it.
Yep. Let ChatGPT do the work.
Yeah, it did it.
I like the one you did yesterday too, after the market got going. When you changed those numbers for us, that's great.
Yep.
Definitely. I was listening to that Gary Van something on Instagram yesterday, and he's seems to be maybe one of the ChatGPT leaders, and he was talking about if you're not using AI, he said you got to start using AI, and he said even if you don't use it for everything, you need to get into practice because it's coming. So you need to get into the rhythm and the practice of it now, even if you're not using it like for everything or using it for business and all, but you need to be working the muscle, because he's like, if you think AI is not coming, you are, basically you're disillusioned. AI is coming, and it's coming strong, and we're going to use it for everything or for a lot of stuff, so that you need to be getting the muscle and working that muscle now. So I was like, okay, well, I use it a little bit. It's very little bit for, sometimes I find that like if I've like headed to write an email, but then when I read the email, it doesn't sound like me. So I, of course, you should go back and do this anyway, but I go back and make it really sound mine. I keep some of the, key points, but I make it sound that it's mine, so that that way it's not like sounding like somebody else wrote my emails.
Hey, the lawyers and the surgeons are using it already.
Yeah. Get help. Get help. Get all the help you can get.
Yeah, because like when some of those surgeries, like some of those very delicate surgeries, there's no way anybody's hand could be that steady.
Mm.
So it's like it's almost like a video game when they're doing their cuts and sewing, and the lawyers also use it for like contracts and data analysis.
Yeah.
Of course, they're charging you $1,200 an hour too, right?
Well, because you're not just paying for that contract, you're paying for my knowledge of when I reread this contract, that I know what I'm talking about and I know what AI has made correct and not correct. So you're paying for the knowledge, not really for the contract itself.
And the staff and the Manhattan office.
All the pieces. Yes, all the pieces.
Yes, roll it up into one big price.
So we said here, after 90 point squeeze off 43.90, which is not 43.90 for this, it will be 43.45. Support on SPX to 44.77 target. That part's not important. Really, plan today. That's really important. What's happening today? 44.22, 44.22, and 44.18. That's a support area with 44.05 below. Basing above 44.22 sets up for 44.39, 44.58. 44. If 44.05 fails, then we dip to 43.85. This needs to be a 3. 43.85. All righty. Yesterday, I kept putting in the chat the 43s because my brain had not flipped us over to 44. My brain wasn't there yet. So we could today find ourselves back in the 43s. But it looks like our lower number, maybe 43.85, and our top number looks like it's 44.58. Okay, so 44.50, 43.85. Again, we trade what we see, not what we hope to see.
And they have lots of open interest at 4,500 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. 4,500 right above that, nice psychological number is in there. We've got that. Said I'll take a look at yesterday. John's group put on for earnings. They did something that was earnings today. I noticed it late. INTC. That's not earnings. INTC, they did based on high implied volatility. And I said, I put in the chat yesterday to make sure that we looked at it this morning. INTC for a July expiration. INTC. Isn't that Intel?
Yeah, that's Intel.
That's Intel. AMD, NVIDIA, those guys are still, moving upward. So maybe you don't necessarily buy calls because that's not really what we do, but you find some put credit spread supports and use this upward movement on, NVIDIA, AMD, TSM. You use that information to set some put credit spreads and you can pull some profits off of those. All right, I was trying to open up Thinkorswim so that way we can look at Intel. I thought I had one more that I put in here to make sure we looked at. These people mentioned, I did put the link, I did put the hashtags as to what I thought I did, which stock, here we go. SMCI, we did talk about them. ANET, Equix, or however they are, the name of them is. They're a REIT. This is a REIT company that's leasing space to the data centers. Applied and TSM. This was a decent little video for the next NVIDIA. They said, I don't know if it's that, you have to put some clickbait on it to get people to watch the video. I thought I put one more note in here. I put INTC, but I thought I put something else in here. Q Music. Yeah.
So Jamie and I are looking into getting buildings to lease to these data centers. Because, it looks like they're going to need more of these racks and computers to do stuff. So why not sell them those things?
Yep. Well, and what they were saying too was that they needed to be like in a place close enough to they needed to be close enough to where the stuff is, so the location is going to matter. They talked about that in the video, something about the location being important. Check INTC.
Actually, they were saying that some places like Jamaica and anywhere near the coast, that they might do some underwater because you could use the water to cool the things.
The cooling down, that would work too. I think I remember
even fresh water.
I think I remember the coast being mentioned in the chats, in the conversation. Yeah. Go for it. Or you can just jump in on EQIX and invest in the REITs that way. Be an investment partner by doing the REITs. That's not where I wanted to go. INTC yesterday had a IV percentile is like 29 and some change. Here it is. It's at 30 now, so it's bumped up a bit. The list, INTC, USB, kind of the same things we've seen. Oracle, CMA, the VXX, Rivian, FedEx, SoFi, AI, Beyond Meat's at 51. Fuel Cell is at 69 and Dish is at 76. Let's look at INTC to see what kind of what strikes we might want to look at and how we would look through these for your strikes. If you're talking about, you got two options here, right? Remember, I go with the high implied volatility stock, 25 delta, 1 week expiration, getting 30% return on collateral. Looks like these are 50-cent spreads for INTC. You can expand it and make it $1. But if you're looking at just 1 week out, I look here at the, if you're looking there, so I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna talk about the 1 week using the high implied volatility, and I'm gonna talk about the longer term. So I do for the 1 week, I would look over here on the put side, and I'm looking under the delta column. I would look in this 20, somewhere less than 25.30. So probably go with the 34.5. That's the 24 delta there. And then the 38.5, I probably would go with one of these, either 38 or 38.5 there. So thinking in mind that a 30 delta means there's a 70% chance that the price will not come here. Yeah. 30% chance it's going to reach here, 70% chance it won't. 25 delta means a 75% chance it won't come here, 25% chance it will. So if you stay around 25, 30 delta, that's what you're saying. You're giving yourself a 70% chance of success. And because you plan on closing the trade at 50% profit, you actually increase those odds, like you double them. So where it would be 70% if it's on a 30 delta, if you're planning to close it at 50%, you're actually changing that delta. It's weird, but you're changing the delta to like a 15 delta just by planning to close it early. So you're not waiting for it to get to expiration, which is when you would get this whole, is it going to make it 75%? You're closing it early enough. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a little more comfortable with 30 delta too. But 34.5 and 38.5 is you were looking at just for this week. So we're going to put in 34.5 and then we're going to put in 38 or 38.5. So when I change the screen, we won't be lost as to what we talk about. I won't be trying to remember which numbers. This is for next Friday expiration. So that's for June 23rd expiration would be these numbers I just mentioned and how I did those. Okay. Let me go and erase some of these things because I don't need these, right? So now we looked at 34.5. 34.5 for next Friday. That's going to give you at least 12 cents. Of course, the market is closed, so the number is going to maybe a little bit different when the market opens, but you got $12 on that one side. And if you went with 38, I probably would go with the 38. Looks like there is 6 cents on this side. Again, when you click these, most likely the numbers will be different. Let's see, it might show 12 just because, that showed 13 because the market's closed. 13 and 8. So that's 21, right? A total on both sides of 21. Come on. So that's $21 on a 50 spread. So you're getting $21 of premiums on a 50 spread, right? So that is what, 40% return on the money? 42% return on the money. And so your max loss then is $29. The 50. You collected $21 on a 50-cent spread, means your max loss is $29 in that case. That's for just the 1 week. You're leveraging $29 in order to. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Something exercise while the market's still closed. Which I was just talking to you about that, Rasta. So that's what that's for this week, right? That's for if you were going to do next Friday expiration, if you were doing the 23rd, those will be the numbers. But I wanted you to see, because when the market opens, you want to look at those delta numbers again when the market is open. That way you can see what they are in real time. If you're looking out for July 21st is that longer term run. I'm also going to switch it back to single. You're looking for the same thing, but you're looking for it just on a further out expiration. Now, this is going to be one spread. There's not 50-cent spreads anymore, but you're looking for about a 15 delta. Looking for about a 15 delta, which puts you at 32 and 42. You can go a little bit higher on the delta if you're comfortable with that. I would be, but I don't want to guide anybody wrong. So we got 32 and 42 looks like. So switch over to, you're going out longer term. Now remember, we were taking in $21 off of 50 cents. So 32, you're taking in $13 again. And 42, you're taking in almost the same amount of money, except for you're going out further. So as far further in time, but you're not taking in any more money, which is what would kind of encourage me to look at a little bit higher delta. Because again, I'm closing it early. I'd look in here. So we're talking about 40 and about 34, 33. So 30, 34 and 40. I do keep in mind, I also look at this over here. Also look at the implied volatility number over to the right. Okay, says about, it's a plus or minus 3. So that gives us what, 32 and 38. That puts us in the range. So we got 40 and 34 looks like, or 33. Change it back to single to vertical. 33 is paying 19 cents. And 40 is paying 13 cents. So 32 cents, 32% return. Now that's for, this one's paying $32 for a longer expiration. You got $100 of collateral. Max loss is what, $68. So if you want the longer term, you can do it this way, pull in about $32. If you're fine with the short term for the 1 week, you can do that and take in, what did I say, $21. You can do that. Or you can do both. If you like the stock, you can do both.
So I think it's, first of all, thank you for this. I think it's safe to say then that normally we can just use, as when we're going further out, we can just use the next third Friday as, you know, in order, I'm just saying in terms of consistency, because when we go out 1 week, we know it can be the next Friday, but further out will be the next month, third Friday.
The next third Friday of the month. This is true.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I'm looking for all the ways to take the guesswork out of as much as possible and kind of make it repetitive, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Yeah, and that's a good thing, because you're really looking at, and that's what we were talking about. We first started talking about probability-based trading and going out longer, is just putting on trades and just letting them have time. The drawback for us as a community is we've gotten very comfortable trading every day, and we've gotten very comfortable looking at our stuff during the day regularly. So to have a trade that's going for a month almost feels like, you know, I've had like some of those ones I did before. I had gold and silver. I finally closed the silver, and I had GDX and VXX and some of the XLY, some of the things that's been riding all this time. And every day I look at them, I'm like, you're still here. So because we're used to looking at stuff every day. So it's going to be a mentality shift. But as your day gets busier doing other things, when you don't have as much time to watch these things each day, this provides opportunity for you to not have to watch your stuff all the time. At least not watch all of it all the time.
Now, thank you. Now, which do you have a preference on which kinds of spreads you kind of separate out for the longer ones? Meaning, do you mostly do like the shorter spreads, or because it's less collateral, or the longer ones?
I like the shorter one just because it's, 1 week out. I like those. They do require a little more consistent, I won't say watching, but you do have to look at them each day. If you got it out for a lot longer, you don't got to do that. So I like a little bit of both, but at this point, I don't do anything that's over a 1 spread. I do 50-cent spread and $1 spreads. I don't do any 250 spreads, even though some of the 250 spreads, like, that's NVIDIA, that's some of the other ones that I kind of like the stock. I think Apple's a 250 spread. I just don't want to put $250 on it. So I just only do 1 spread and 50-cent spreads. That way I can do a lot more of them.
So then, okay, thank you for that. So then when do you decide what's going to be your month that you're going to do the third Friday? Like, how do you decide which one to do?
I'll look at them. And if I look at it and I've looked out to July and it's a 2.5 or greater, I just don't do that one.
Okay.
There are lots of them that stay 1 spread out a month. So, because there's some of them are like, it's 1 spread for a little while, then later, depending on where you go or how far away you go in time, it flips over to 250 or flips over to 5. And right. I'm like $500. No, I'm not doing a 5 spread on nothing that's more than a day, because I need my 5 spreads for my SPXs every day. So at least 1, right? So I don't do a 5 spread for something long term.
Okay, so you mostly doing 1 spread and 2.5 spreads, even if you do the month out.
Right.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. Daily declaration. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My account is growing more and more each week. I am a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. I declare money likes me. I declare I'm a blessing to others. I declare I'm a world changer. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Lord, it is you who gives us the power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. You teach our hands to war with the purpose of establishing your kingdom. 2 Samuel 22:35. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically in order to fulfill this purpose. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen. All righty. So we're going to be in the chat today. I'm traveling this afternoon, I think, but I'll most likely be here at the computer for the majority of the trading day. If y'all need something, please be sure to reach out. Make sure you're trading what you see today. Keep your diamond hands on. And we're going to do 2 things. What are the 2 things we're doing?
Stay green.
Stay green and
get this money.
Yes, we're going to get this money. All righty. I'll see you all in the chat. You all have a really good day. We are not doing coaching call tomorrow because we're doing it on Monday afternoon. Okay, I'm going to send an email to the coaching group with that, but we're not coaching tomorrow. We're doing it Monday evening, not afternoon, evening.
Thank you, Arlissa, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Thank you.
All righty. Talk to y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Real quick, I just wanted to come on. This is Arlissa, Educator to Trader. Wanted to come on and tell you and ask you, I guess, to like and subscribe to the channel. If you like the content that I create and I'm, posting regularly, then go ahead and subscribe. That way you won't miss anything and you can be a part of all that we're doing here. I'm a coach to sellers. I'm an option sellers coach. If that's a vein that you don't know anything about or you want to know more about, then go ahead, subscribe and check us out all the time. All right. Thank y'all. I appreciate it.